Take a look at this guy. Most adept gamers would say that this guy is a goober for having such low vigor. But considering he's a mage, many other gamers would argue that he's not a vigorless goober, he's simply a glass cannon mage. It's not the first time someone pointed that out to me. Like in my Elon Musk videos, some people were saying that Elon's build was a glass cannon, and not just a walking circus. Which is kinda weird because the concept of a glass cannon in Elden Ring is silly and completely pointless. But why is that the case? Traditionally, a glass cannon sacrifices survivability in exchange for insanely powered damage. You die easily, but ideally everything else dies first. I mean, yeah, everyone has seen those videos of naked gamers dealing insane damage to bosses, but the survivability sacrifice itself is usually unnecessary. The problem is that Elden Ring rarely forces you to make that sacrifice because you can just keep leveling your stats. You can deal absurd damage and have plenty of vigor, armor, and defenses, especially at the levels most people actually play at. And this becomes much more obvious in PvP. In PvE, you can master a boss to the point that taking damage becomes a non-issue. PvP doesn't give you that luxury. Allow me to exemplify. This is a level 200 character. I'm wearing heavy armor because I have 40 endurance. I have huge HP with 59 vigor, and I have damage stats with 45 strength and 80 faith. By normal glass cannon standards, this build should absolutely fail to qualify because of my more than sufficient survivability. However, watch this. Does that look like non-canon damage to you? Level 125 to 200 are pretty standard in the PvP community, so we are not exactly talking about absurdly overleveled characters here. Neglecting vigor or endurance just to squeeze out more damage is usually pointless, since you can achieve very similar results while also not being made of wet tissue paper by actually leveling vigor. Let's use the build you just saw as an example. These are the damages we currently deal with this build. The only buffs are Golden Bow and the Physique with the Holy Shrouding character. And this is the damage we would deal if we maxed out the relevant offensive stats for this weapon. Not exactly a worthwhile trade, is it? Okay, but what about quality, you ask? Surely a quality build with 99 strength and 99 dexterity will make for a devastating glass cannon, right? Well, no. These are the damage differences. And this is what happens if you get hit once at this level with base vigor. Not great, is it? Again, you're better off having survivability and optimizing a single stat. Let me show you what some invasions with my all-cannon build look like. On this one, I invade 3 guys in the Capital Polleras de Afuera. I call for help because, duh. And I apply my buffs once I get close enough. They have a mage shooting spells from afar, and they really hurt. So I have to be very careful with that. I barely avoid getting blended, and after probably the worst turn and burn of my life, I somehow managed to one-shot a guy with a single heavy attack. Blood went splat because he didn't have 60 vigor. I narrowly avoid death again, make some distance, and try to one-shot the second guy, but our boy actually leveled vigor a bit, so he barely survives our heavy attack. I make some distance, reapply my buff, and suddenly, for some reason, the mage becomes super brave and comes into bonking distance. Bad idea. I turn around with a crouch attack and deal nearly 1500 damage to this sucker, erasing him from existence. In fact, I bonked his ass so hard, he immediately disconnected, crashing the session. Insane. Something I wanna point out is that colossal crouch attacks on the chicken leg don't normally deal this damage. This is the actual damage. This guy was probably using either the Sword Seals or more likely the Magic Scorpion Charm to increase their magic damage. The problem is that this talisman increases your damage taken in PvP by 15%, while only giving you like 8% more magical damage. It's not efficient. He was clearly trying to canonize his build, and while it did do some extra damage to me, which he only did because he was ganking me, let's be honest, it only took 1 crouch attack for him to perish because of his fucked up defenses. Let's continue with more examples. On this one, I invade 2 guys in Russia Lucaria. I apply my Golden Bow, but I forgot to apply Sacred Blade, Lamau. In any case, I rush the gamers and deal nearly 1300 damage to one of them with a running heavy attack from an unbuffed chicken wing. The gamer corners himself and I just finish them off with a light attack. I love that their first thought in such a situation was pressing the Ash of War button. Very Elden Ring. The other one died off screen. I don't know what happened, to be honest. But in any case, this gamer didn't have much vigor and was wearing light armor. I don't know if it fully resembles a glass cannon archetype, but it's giving those vibes. Regardless, they got fucked. Level leader. In here, I invade 3 guys in the Halic Tree Roots who seem ready to tear any gamer who steps into their domains apart. They start giving chase, and after a failed bomba, I land a majestic charge attack on a gamer with low vigor, brutally crushing their skull. I make a mistake afterwards by trying to punish the Frenzy Flame spell, which would have been deadly if I actually was a glass cannon, but we managed to recover. The mage casts Golden Bow, but I bomba the shit out of them and cast my own Golden Bow. The mage guy summons the glass cannon in them and uses Howl of Shabriri to increase their damage, while also increasing their damage taken. If I merely look in their direction, they will combust. And after a few moments of finding the perfect opportunity, it happens. All glass and no cannon, I guess. We toy with the last guy because why not? And another invader shows up and finishes the job. It seems the guys had the dry fingers activated to summon more invaders in Seamless Co-op. They knew what they were doing. They wanted to gank. I guess it didn't work. And yeah, I know. Maybe you have seen one of Chase the Bros videos where he showcases some extremely specialized glass cannon build, like this My Lady setup, for example. He goes full strength, stays naked for Blue Dancer charm, and stacks every damage talisman and buff available to squeeze out the highest possible wing stance damage. But even then, he still levels Vigor to 60 and uses Dragon Form for defense. No es boludo el man. And the build can work, sure, but if he simply wore armor instead of relying on Dragon Form and removed the Blue Dragon charm, the damage loss wouldn't be that dramatic, while his survivability will increase enormously. This is the damage his unaltered build deals. And this is the damage his build deals if you use a less glass version of it. Now compare how much damage each version takes. You see the difference? The survivability difference is very significant, while the damage difference is doo-doo. Chase's build isn't really a traditional glass cannon either. It still has enough survivability to function because he knows that a proper glass cannon would be nearly useless in PvP. You will be trading a tiny bit of extra damage for the privilege of instantly exploding the moment someone touches you, especially in invasions. And that's why most invaders making glass cannon videos at these levels don't actually look like traditional glass cannons. The builds that work usually keep plenty of vigor and defenses, which kinda defeats the whole point. So as you can see, you don't need to go glass cannon at this level. The benefits of sacrificing survivability are marginal, and you can deal insane damage without turning yourself into a wet noodle. However, I know what some of you may be thinking. Glass cannons supposedly make more sense at lower levels, where you don't have enough points to cover every stat. Well, no. Not really. Let's take, for example, this albino video from 4 years ago. And yeah, I know the video is old, but bear with me. The video is called Broken Glass Cannon Build, and it's a level 51 build with 9 vigor and 52 intelligence. Not a great start, but let's see what happens.
We killed her! We killed her just like that! Easy clap.
I mean, do your people realize the only reason any of these gamers died is because their vigor is non-existent? This is the damage a fully charged Cannon of Jaima will deal to any gamer with enough vigor. Not exactly very canony. However, if you look at Albino's life bar, you do see quite a bit of glass. Dueling someone with Albino's build will be the easiest thing ever. Like, just stray with him until he dies. There's nothing he can do to avoid that. His life bar is tiny. And my friend is being generous here because he has Morgoth's Great Rune activated. Albino would die even faster because he only has 396 HP, and the damage he deals is comically low for something that's supposed to be a glass cannon, only finding success because the game was new, players were even goofier, and they did not level vigor. Oh, but waifu, PvP damage was different back then. That's why his damage is so low. Oh yeah, it was different alright. It hadn't been scaled down yet. So the fact that he's dealing so little damage during an era when PvP was nuts, while still being made of wet tissue paper,
I'm done, dude! What the fuck?
Says quite a lot about it. And in case you haven't noticed, my build deals plenty of damage too, despite these being my stats. Pure vigor. But how can this be, you say? Well, as long as you know what deals damage in low levels, you're Gucci. What works very well are elemental weapons with self-buff finishes of war. For instance, a fire dismounter with Flame Strike, or even more disgusting, the Dragon Halberd. insane Ashahor with hyper armor that self-buffs your weapon with ice lightning and deals tons of damage, and you only need 22 strength to use it. You will be dealing tons of damage while barely putting any points into offensive stats. And this makes sense because at these levels, weapon upgrades are still low enough that offensive stat scaling barely matters. Even Albino's Meteorite Staff, despite its strong early game intelligence scaling, doesn't gain enough from those extra points to justify having 396 HP. You're much better off with different self-buffing weapons. Gamers with low vigor will still die regardless, and fighting gamers with high vigor becomes much less of a chore. And of course, most importantly, you're not made of knotted socks. But let's go a bit higher, right into the 90s. Weapon upgrades are into the plus 20s, and there's enough levels to maximize damage and make a splendid traditional glass cannon build. Right? No, it's basically the same thing as level 50, only that gamers who optimize will also deal even more damage. They have plenty of spare levels after leveling Vigor to 60 to increase an offensive stat. If you try this at level 90, what will most likely happen is... Yeah, I suppose this is the only level bracket where you can actually make a glass cannon mage with a tiny bit more relevant cannon than other brackets. Doesn't mean you should though. And if you don't believe me, look at how much damage I deal here and how much I can tank. And my stats are nothing crazy, by the way. Same with this other guy here. We have the same weapon, nearly the same level, deals similar damage, but I can tank much more hits than him. 60 vigor will beat any glass cannon attempt any day, especially at this level. Let me show you some examples. In here, we are climbing the Snake Eater ladder to find 3 gamers on the top. I tried to engage, but a poll decided not today, Goober, which nearly got me killed as the 3 rabbit monkeys were swinging at me like crackheads. We luckily escaped the feral primates and made ourselves enough room to use Samurai Storm, taking out one of the goobers because they somehow thought it was a good idea to mash inside the ice storm. They also had so little vigor, they died to one ice storm. Insane. The other 2 gamers came in hot and one of them stood still for some reason after attacking. I suppose he ran out of stamina and could not mash anymore, or maybe that would be giving them too much credit. Regardless, they had less than 1000 HP, no vigor. The final gamer dies after getting roll caught once and then smacked in the face while trying to mash the Rush of War, barely over 1000 HP. All glass and no cannon. On this one, we find 2 gamers in the lane del round table. And right away after throwing a bomb out, we realized that one of the gamers did not level vigor. They both jumped down, so we follow, and after a closer look, we realized the low vigor gamer is actually a mage. I believe we have run into our first intended glass cannon of the night. The other gamer didn't have much HP either, but what they both did have was latency. So we switched to Anspur Rapier with Rod to apply pressure that way. The other gamer gets rotted, and after a while, he finally goes down, leaving only the glass cannon to play with us. The guy had at the most 700 HP, because one heavy attack of 450 damage did like 75% of his life bar. My build is purely vigor and a bit of strength, and it's tearing this guy a new one with each hit, while he's dealing okay-ish damage at the most to me. This is why vigor is so important. You can still deal damage if you don't level vigor, but you cannot properly survive if you do not level it. I had to be careful to not actually kill the guy. It's insane how unreliably bad glass cannons are in Elden Ring. They are so unnecessary. After a bit, the gamer sorta gives up, but decides to continue fighting, but it's too late already. I got bored, so we finished the job. Bye-bye, glass cannon gamer. In here, we run not into 1, but 2 glass cannons. Oh, yeah. The first one tries to run away on Torrent, but we show them why that's a bad idea. He tries to run away again, but gets brutally swiped by Frank. I survived that because I did level vigor, by the way. The other gamer strikes us with a comet and it actually hurts. Ouchies. He did some damage to us with a Star Shower and a Moonbay Lash of War as well. This guy put quite a few levels into damage. Impressive. Very nice. Let's see his HP now. Oh. I see. Yeah, I guess no one's shocked at that. We do another hit and then toy with the guy a little bit. He tries to run away on Torrent, but you already know that's a bad idea. And after a bit more goofing around, we finish the job. Glass cannons are bad and pointless. Don't forget pointless. And yeah, I guess you all get the point by now, which is that there's no point in making a glass cannon build. Vigor outright makes them pointless. You can of course do it for shit and giggles. I mean, yeah.
Ah, I'm done, dude! What the fuck?
But in terms of efficiency in Elden Ring, they suck ass. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Ciao.